This is the first episode of what we're going to call Dumbass Hackers or something like that, where we're just a couple of people who hop on call and we're going to be doing hacker crap. So we're looking at down. So what we just learned is you have to be on a VIP Plus server. I already have VIP Plus. It's a higher tier paid subscription for Hack the Box. You can, that's not what I want to show. This is where you have to have VIP Plus for that. You can do monthly or annual, but the standard VIP will not allow you to spawn the box. This is the first time I've known of Hack the Box to have done this, but I could be wrong in that. So there's someone else on the call, and we're going to show how to switch the VPN in case you just got the plan and you haven't needed to do this before. You're just going to click on Switch VPN or connect to HTB in the top right over here. Machines. I recommend OpenVPN. You can also do Pawnbox. The interface is basically the same for both. Click VPN access, and when you have VIP Plus, you're going to see VIP Plus servers. There's a couple of different regions. You can do it in Europe, United States, Australia, and Singapore. I'm based out of the United States, so the United States server is going to be the fastest. There's also only one US VIP Plus server, which is what I'm going to be connecting to. And from here, you would download the new VPN profile. What the new VPN profile allows you to do is properly connect to the VPN. So I had a VPN going, but let me start a new one of OpenVPN into my downloads. Lab, my username is Caden64. And then set that to the 2, which is what I saw in the browser, as the correct file type. If this is your first time downloading the VPN, you probably won't have the 1, 2, or whatever extra at the end. But I have downloaded the VPN multiple times. And with that, I'm going to start the VPN, and you're going to see a lot of text. If you are interested in networking, you're going to see a lot of interesting things that you can kind of pick apart. For us, it doesn't matter that much, but I am going to be talking about a couple of quick terminal tips that are very helpful. If you do Control-Shift-T, that will create a new tab, and you can swap between tabs with Alt-Tab if you want to use keyboard, or you can just go up here like you would in a web browser. Another thing is you can rename tabs. So I like renaming my VPN tab to VPN, so I know what that tab is. Another benefit is it makes it smaller. So if you're mass closing a lot of tabs, you won't accidentally delete your VPN tab. And with that, let's start the machine. This is a Hack the Box retired machine, and on the newer machines, what they tend to do is have adventure mode and guided mode. I have taken a quick look at down already, but I haven't done anything practically or anything like that. But I'm going to be sticking on adventure mode. If you're new to hacking, or if you're kind of confused at what we're looking for, guided mode can be a great way to start. Another thing is you have the video walkthrough, which goes to IPSEC's video on it. IPSEC is an employee of Hack the Box, and he posts all of the retired walkthroughs of all of the retired content. He also has a VulnLabs, which is an additional subscription for multiple machines shared to get linked together through networking, and that is a shared lab experience with other people. But for our purposes, adventure mode is fine. I like to do is I use Obsidian for notes. Uh, I don't think I got rid of the old IPs I took a quick look at, but nothing major. So I have a couple of folders in here. I put all of the machines I do in this folder called projects. So in here, I have down right here. The victim IP is going to be different. And then I have my techniques folder. And these are all of the various tips and tricks I've learned by doing Hack the Box, CTFs, and other things throughout the time I've been doing this kind of stuff. And in total, I have, how many? 152 notes. So what I'm going to do, what you just saw, is it's very easy to get a tab lost. So I'm going to pin this tab, and I'm going to split it to the right, and I'm going to split one down. So this one on the right, this is going to be my working tab. So these two I'm going to pin, and this will be my reference material for notes I'm looking at. This one is going to be my current notes on the box, and this one I'm going to leave at victim IP and attacker IP. Attacker IP is going to be my IP address, which I can see in the top right. You can also go into your terminal and run IPA, and if you have one VPN going, it's going to be ton0, and that's how you'll get your IPv4 address, which is how Hack the Box does all of that kind of stuff. Let's check back to the Hack the Box tab where we see the target IP address has gone up. It's been live for about 4 minutes, so services should be up. If it takes an insanely amount of time, there will probably be a warning up top telling you how long it should take roughly. So with that, I have my victim IP address, and I'm going to do a fairly long nmap. So let me prepare for the nmap. This is code block, so it's easy to copy because I can just click these buttons and it'll copy it to my clipboard, and it's a great way to take notes. So let me make sure I have the victim IP address copied, and let me run, I like working in a Hack the Box directory, and I have down created already. Nmap, and it's going to be a little annoying, so I'm just going to remove my old scan data. Because I like keeping my scan data down there. I did clear my screen just so I have clean workspace in the tabs. While I'm working on boxes, I try not to clear my terminal, so I have a history. This is not best practice at all, but it's what I find easiest to do, and as such, what I typically do. So I like to do standard scripts. I like to get the versions. I like to do all ports, and I typically go with timing 4, which is more aggressive, but not super aggressive. Make it verbose, not double verbose like IPsec does. I output all formats into my nmap directory with the down all prefix to the different formats, and then I provide it my IP address. And I use the -all to specify I'm doing all ports. Another option you can do is drop the default scripts and versions and run at T4 or even T5 to have it run super quick. And you would just say all of the ports, and then you can do a more intense script or version scan on the ports that actually have services running on them. T4, the T needs to be capitalized too. and the nmap directory does also need to be created beforehand. Nmap scripts can take a little bit to run, but we see 2 ports already, 22 and 80, which is pretty standard for an easy Linux box. These will most likely be the 2 ports we see. 22 is probably going to be SSH, 80 is probably going to be web server. If those are not the protocols, we will find out very shortly. But let's see, and we have a Is It Down or Just Me website, and it says 2024 Is It Down or Just Me LLC, and website that says is that website down or is it just you? Now another thing with Hack the Box is the boxes they spawn up do not have internet access as far as I'm aware. So we can try google.com, right? And this will most likely say it's down, just because it does not have the machine that we spawned has internet access. Our machines do have internet access because when we're accessing private IPs within the VPN range, it knows that and it says that. But in this case, it does say it's down for everyone, which further makes me believe that the box does not have internet access, which means we would have to host tools if we needed to upload tools to it. We couldn't just download it from GitHub directly.
Okay, so one thing. So your scan seems to be taking about the same amount of time as mine. We did, the -pn at the end. I think that's just the no DNS resolution lookup.
No ping. I like to do ping because Hack the Box, they almost always have their machines be allowed to ping you back, just so you know you're connected properly.
Okay. I did try it without that PN, and it said if the host is really up, it says it seems to be blocked.
Are you connected to the VPN?
Yep.
No?
No, I am.
To VIP Plus?
VIP Plus, yep.
Did you reconnect to the VPN after downloading it?
I did, yes.
Let's
see, I mean, if I can get a ping.
Yeah, if you don't get a ping, run IPA again and see if you're actually connected or not.
Oh, I'm sure. For some reason, my numb's off. No matter what I press, every time it doesn't want to work inside my VM. Like it doesn't seem like I have connected. No. But usually when this happens, I think that it is a VPN issue, and I just usually restart the VPN.
Yep. Do you mind if I share your screen?
Sudo pkill open VPN, and then I'll rerun the VPN, and that usually does the trick. Let's see. There we go. That did it.
Yep. VPN issues. If Nmap requires you to have a -pn, take a step back, especially on Linux boxes. They typically almost always respond back with a ping. And again, as why IPsec runs his Nmap scans beforehand, they can take a little bit to run, but when you run with the verbose options, you know what ports are open beforehand. Now, since we know this doesn't have internet access, we have to host a web server ourselves to see what it's kind of like doing. So I'm going to do Control-Shift-T so I have another terminal while the Nmap scan is going. I'm actually going to rename the Nmap tab to Nmap itself. so I know that's what I'm doing, and this is my new working terminal. Here, I'm just going to I don't have anything important in here, so I'm fine running a Python web server in here, which you can do with python.gem http.server. And let's try if we can get it to go to any port, because it looks like it supports standard HTTP. So this is listening on all interfaces on port 1337. So let's try connecting to myself, which I have my attacker IP right there. Again, you can also read it up here, but that's a little bit small text, and I find it's better to have in my notes. Now I'm just going to do HTTP because it's an HTTPS server, colon, which is standard for changing the port to 1337, and I'm going to ask, is it down? And it says, it is up, it's just you, and it responds back with the standard Python response back, and we see we get get slash HTTP 1.1 200. So the next question that I know is on the guided access, because this is about as far as I went before I stopped poking at the box, is what user agent is installed. And to do that, I'm going to switch from using Python to just using netcat NC NVLP 1337. I like using the port number 1337 because it's leet speak for leet, and I think it's funny more than anything else.
It's what? It's leet speak for what?
For leet, LEET, 1337. If you're to do numeric substitutions, it's equivalent.
Okay.
And
okay, so on this website, is it down? What you put in your IP address, like the attacker IP address on the right? Okay.
Yep. Because when I did google.com, it doesn't have access for it. I'm also adhering to the protocol standard. It kind of, I think it nope, it's not what I want to do. It just says enter a URL. HTTP is the standard URL format for websites. So I'm just going to ask, is it down? And netcat isn't going to respond with anything useful. I just hit enter to close the connection. But I do know the version is curl 7.81.0 now from the user agent, because this is the full header that was received from the web browser, from when it tried connecting to me, so I know it's using curl. The interesting thing with curl is that's a command line utility. So my current thought process is it's most likely going to be command injection, because it's using curl and it's not acting any web browser or something like that. Another option is I can try requesting 127.0.0.1, which is localhost. And by doing that, we can see if it can fetch its own files, which is also a vulnerability as well. So that's going to be the next thing that I try. 127.0.0.1. And in the URL up here, I see it's going to index.php, so I'm going to add a /. I'm going to specify port 80, index.php. And here we get the full web page, and if we go into our browser developer utilities, which you can open with Control-Shift-I, or you can mess with the menu a little bit, to there, and if I go into debugger, if I refresh the page to populate it, has sandbox eval code, so it's not really getting anything because it is indeed PHP, but the returned formatting is what I would expect with a couple of additions due to extensions I have installed / the output already existing. But it is very much, here's the website already. Another thing that we can do is we can check for other files as well. And with VulnLab, they do not set DNS records for their IP addresses. Hack the Box does. So be mindful of that as well. So let's check our Nmap scan real quick, where we get it's a Linux host. We get a couple of filtered unknowns. You also get Tempest port on 11600 and BCTP on 5999, and a couple of other things that no scripts picked up on what they actually were. And because it says filtered, it's probably not accurate. It's very easy to respawn filtered. It's a lot harder to give service information, which is what we see with port 22 SSH and port 80, which is running Apache 2.4.52, which just from being around I know is probably the latest version and probably not vulnerable. So let me put this into our notes of Nmap. And in my notes, which I have not been keeping up with, really, also going to put in does not have internet connection, but can use HTTP, so HTTPS addresses. And writing that actually gives me an idea. What if we use other kinds? If I do technique / I think it's command injection, I have the note. This is a lot of different command injection. No, this is not filters. Yes. Linux transfers is this what I want. File RCE. I saw in like Hacktricks when I was searching for transfers. Yeah, PHP local file injection to remote code execution via PHP filters. We know this is PHP because it's Apache. It's running, it's just redirecting us to index.php. And if we look at Wappleizer, we see PHP and Apache 2.4.52, which is another way to get the Apache version. There's also a dark mode, which I just learned by looking at Dave's screen. The more you know. So, a couple of thoughts. We could do a internal port scan is one option for server-side request forgery. We could also try source code disclosure, or we could try searching for other paths that are valid on the domain. What are your thoughts, Dave?
My Nmap scan is coming in very differently than yours.
Yep. I'm going to show yours actually because this looks more like the intended Nmap scan. Second, let me just. Dave. Oh, wait, I was showing me. Never mind. So as you can see from his Nmap scan, you only see port 22 and port 80 open, and it's basically the same Nmap scan. The only difference is he shows down.nmap as the prefix for all formats files instead of putting it into an nmap directory. I also know OpenSSH 8.9 P1 is not vulnerable as well, which is the version of SSH that Dave got. Let me check my nmap scan to see what version I got. I got the same version, which makes sense. So the filtered unknown, if you run it again and it looks different, that could be why, because all of this from like port 3190 and up looks like crap to me, and I don't think is accurate. But can use HTTP and HTTPS. Oh, right, that's why I wanted to check. If we could use other file formats. So you might notice if you ever download like a PDF and you open it in Chrome, it uses the file extension. Potentially, we could see if we can use that extension. And there's a lot of bypass methods and what have you, but let's see if trying to do it as naively as possible works. So file, /etc/ password, which is a file everyone should be able to read if it supports this, and if we do is it down, we get only protocol HTTP or HTTPS is allowed. So to me, it's interesting because it looks like we were able to submit the URL successfully, and we got this response back. So I'm going to open this up in Burp Suite and start doing it from there, so I can look at it in a little bit different lens. New project on disk. I just put this in the default directory, where I'm going to put this in, call this HTB down. This project name, next, start.
How much do you pay for professional?
Too much. It's like $475. Yeah, this is, Intruder is so much better on professional. It is not worth that much. It also needs to update, so give that a second. If you want better Intruder, you can use a tool called Kaido. It's Burp, but a little bit different. I also have that, so I can show that tool as well. If you're a student, they'll give you the pro version. I don't have on this computer. They'll give you the pro version for free for 1 year. Otherwise, it's $20 a month for it, or you can do yearly and you get like a month or two off from that, from the yearly price when you do it that way. But the main reason I want to use it is because of the proxy capability, and there's a lot of tools you can do with that. If you want to do SSRF, a very good way to do that is with FFUF as well. So in here, I'm going to increase FUF, yep. I'm going to increase my font size a little bit. semicolon, that's already fairly large. I'm going to go into proxy, and I'm going to just open it in their browser, which uses the latest version of Chromium. It doesn't really matter how you get into Burp Suite, just that you get into Burp Suite. I typically do not use the intercept feature. I tend to use HTTP history with intruder and repeater whenever possible. So in here, I see the index.php, which gives the HTML response back. And we also have the favicon. Favicon doesn't show up. Doesn't really matter for our use case.
Why do we always see the favicon? Why does that always pop up?
The favicon is this icon in the top left. So if I go to like Google, see in the top left where you see the Google logo?
Yep.
That is going to be their favicon, if I can ever find it now that I've completely added every possible thing to. Yeah. I don't know how that got there, honestly, but favicon.ico is a common thing. Something we can do as well is add the IP address to scope. And I'm going to prevent other things from getting into the log that aren't from this scope. This is just so if we need to do any Googling and I accidentally use the Burp Suite browser, it doesn't completely muddy up all of the HTTP history like I just did. So I'm going to close the Google tab and refresh now so it's at the bottom when I'm looking at it. If I completely refresh it, if I do Control-Shift-R is a hard refresh. Still doesn't. If you run into that, just sort by number. So it's in chronological order, which is my personal preference, is chronological order. Whatever makes sense for you. And I'm going to request our IP address again, this time in my working copy, again using netcat, and HTTP / and our IP address, or the attacker IP address is this, using port 1337. Is it down? May take a second or two. And I have intercept off, but we do see a post request here. And we have the URL encoded version right here. We can send to, if we highlight and right click to send to decoder, we can open up decoder, which, alright, need to, tools, give me a second, because I messed up where I put that, data, I accidentally removed the tab and I don't remember where I need to go to get that, so I'm just going to copy it and I'm going to put into CyberChef. This is the official CyberChef URL. This is the one you should use. It's hosted on GitHub, there's no ads, it's fantastic. But what we do see is the URL I put in. If we go back to here, oh, that's why it's not going to respond, is because I have to give it some output back that does not like, so it will immediately close. Um, oh, this is the decoder tab. Okay. Okay, this is where that ended up.
Oh, you're putting the URL in there.
Yep, that's the full URL, and you can click decode as URL, and you have the same result. It's kind of up to you for how you want to do it. It doesn't really matter either way. Here we can hit render, which is a good way to see, is this how it's supposed to look or not? So here's what I tried before, was using the file with on localhost. If I just tried file here, if I send this to repeater, which you can do with Control R or right click and send to repeater, either way doesn't really matter. And
Before you get run away, I'm still
Mhm.
I'm still back. You know, I'm getting a down for everybody on my when I'm trying to.
Yeah.
Well, one good thing, I'm not getting anything on my Netcat listener. And
Okay.
when I test my own URL, it's telling me it's down for everybody.
Which makes sense if you're not getting a response back, which is also the response you should be getting if you get a response back. And you put in.
I get something on my listener though.
You should. What? And you put in 1010 14 150 or 190.
Where would I? Oh, because it's did I put in my attacker IP? Is that what I did?
Well, that's what you should do.
You're saying in here it's not. We're not putting in We're putting in our IP.
Yeah. Yeah. So we get callback to our. Yeah. So that's basically it trying to connect to itself on port 1337, and all that means is there's nothing on port 1337 locally. Or yeah, I think you would route it locally even though it's an external IP address, I think.
I'm just waiting for this to come through on the Netcat listener. It just seems like it's taking a minute.
It should be almost instant. Do you want 7? Click, is it down? There we go. There we go. Yep, but you don't have intercept on, so go back to your terminal tab. Terminal. Yep.
Okay,
see? And then press enter.
Gotcha.
And that's just closing the connection and not giving a proper response back, so it's going to say it's down, but technically it's not. Also, technically, it doesn't matter. Another thing with Burp Suite is they'll automatically, or they won't automatically, but you can de-URL encode stuff pretty easily. I'm just going to be doing convert selection, URL decode, which you can also do with Control-Shift-U, just to make it a little bit easier for what I'm about to do of sending this to intruder and doing internal port scan.
So what do you decode as URL?
Yep, that gets the full thing, or you can just do it inline. Either way, it doesn't really matter. So when I go to intruder, I'm going to set my payload to be numbers, and I'm going to start from number 1, going to 65535, right? That's max number of ports?
Yep, 65,535.
Yep, okay. I'm very good and have all of the knowledge in the world, clearly. And I'm going to hit start attack. I'm just going to use their default resource pool that can do 10 concurrent requests a second. This is an easy box, so there could be SSRF. I think it would be pretty immediate if there was or wasn't, and I'm just going to let that run. I don't recommend you do this, Dave, because this is going to take forever with Burp Suite. With Burp Suite Community, yeah. Because Intruder is so much slower. Yeah, I mean, I'm almost at 1,000. That's with it going at max speed.
Okay.
While we're waiting for that, let's run GoBuster against it to try and get different directories. So I'm going to open up my notes on GoBuster. I'm going to do my directories. I'm just going to do my standard Kali, but I am going to change it out to the RAF directory. I'm also going to set the output to GoBuster-RAF-medium. And this is the word list used, and I'm going to change my notes to use that word list. So I don't need to change it in the future. And because we know what that's a Apache server, we can set the extension to PHP as well to try and get any extra hits as well. Mm-hmm. So real quick in my notes, just so I have a little recap of what I've tried, have SSRF attack running, Burp Suite, tried other forms such as file, but got an error. We'll investigate that. I just want to do other enumeration first. Have about to run GoBuster for directory / file enumeration. If it resolved to a domain name like HackTheBox often does, I would also want to run a vhost scan to try and figure out other to find subdomains of it, but because it's just a raw IP address, I don't think it matters. So this is the rough output. This is going to 6,000. We get /JavaScript, we get index.php, and that's also going to do its thing. This has 10 threads, so it can do a lot of requests. We get 403 for server status, so that's probably bust. Server status is a default page on Apache. And this is most of the time that this is going to be all of the word list you need. On some, and I have in my notes because I've ran into it, you can try JHaddox if there's the JHaddox DNS list is something you can also try. I would do that for Oh yeah, that when I needed it, I forget for which box it was. It was for Underpass, I think, which is retired now. I think you need to use this list. Error parse. Yep, that's an invalid URL. That's fine. I'm going to check back on the intruder attack. It's.
I can't get GoBuster to run now.
Oh, you have a timeout error. This is why you take good notes. Add the timeout flag with 20 seconds and see if that helps it get started. And that's something that's you may run into. Add 20s. Yep, to specify 20 seconds.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yep, and that allows it to kind of kickstart and allow things to happen for a little bit longer. Another thing is if it's a page on 443 with the self-signed SSL cert, you may need to add the -K. This list I kind of just build upon as needed. I'll probably be fixing these notes all over the place while doing this. That looks like you have another VPN. Do you have Pawnbox going at the same time or something like that?
No VPNs. This is, I tell you, I face just a single VPN.
Huh.
Yes.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, I'm looking at his Discord screen share and all looks normal to me.
Yeah, here's my.
Yep, there's the Go Buster. Where's the Open VPN from? Oh, right, you have that one Open VPN. What's that second Open VPN?
Right. I don't know. Right here. Let me see.
My intruder is at 14,000 something, and the length is all pretty similar, so I'm going to assume it's 2763, and I thought I saw 64. Yeah, I see like 3 different links, so it's currently bust. You have curl. Curl. It's interesting that they're just doing curl. So I do want to go back to once Dave gets it fixed. Looks
Got
like
it.
yep, he got his fixed. My current idea is to figure out interesting things we can do with curl. In a repeater, I do want to check, is it client-side validation or server-side validation for file? Because if it's server-side, then I'm a lot more suspicious. File slash etsy slash password and your own code that guy. And let's see. Okay, it is server side. So this is something I want to bypass then.
Did your Go Buster finish?
Yes. Which is, I almost did not put this in my notes. uh, um, Nothing of interest is what my thoughts on the Go Buster are. We could try bigger word lists, but given that's an easy box, I don't think it's really going to go out of its way to be difficult. And I think it's going to be something a little obtuse, but once you find it, you found it, is what my kind of thought process is. Worst case scenario, how long has the box been spawned? For like 45 minutes. So this is the point where if you're like, you have no idea what else you should be trying to do, I would recommend you look at IPSEC's video. My current goal is to try and get other formats to work with curl. is what my goal is right now.
We need another formats to work with.
You can use file, you can use, I really want to do, because it's weird it's using curl, so I feel like there's a reason for that. And my theory is if we can bypass the filter for HTTP and HTTPS protocol, we may be able to do source code reading. And that would be helpful. We may be able to find something else that could help as well. Because that's the page source code, but that's not index.php though. That's what's rendering out and serving to you. Dave has the web page source code pulled up. Yes, I've looked through it. It's not calling any JavaScript. They have a /JavaScript, but there's no references in there. So it could be nothing. We could do an nmap, a GoBuster going at this JavaScript and change the extension to JS, and we could see what we get, but I'm not super hopeful on that. I mean, we can try. Doesn't really hurt that much. Change the extension to JS. Run that, and we'll see if we get anything back. On their server-side request forgery, we're almost halfway done, and it's still... nothing's really standing out. It's all within like 20 characters of each other. The longer ones, let's look at one of the responses. Just me. We get the same thing back. For the shorter ones, I'm not quite sure why it's... oh, it's just the... no, it's not the length of the payload. I have no idea why it's shorter, but it looks roughly the same. We could, in the response, I can set it to pretty. Control A, select everything, send to compare. Go back to intruder. Select one of the bigger ones. Control A. Send to compare again. Go to compare. Compare 1 and 2. Compare words. Oh, the longer ones have keep alive. The other ones have close. Okay. So really nothing that makes a difference in terms of content on there. Yeah, I'm not too concerned about those differences. So if it stays between those two lengths, I'm happy. Not happy because I'm not finding anything, but I don't think I'm missing anything. But I want to go back to my repeater tab though, and I want to get Etsy password to work. Can I do HTTP / what if I just add in a space right there? Could I do that? Just to see if I can break curl, maybe? Oh! That looks like Etsy password to me. Okay. So, okay, do we have... I see one bin batch. Do we have... we have 2 bin batch, so we have root and Alex. Okay, so this is going to be remote code execution through command injection, basically. Or not remote code execution, at least yet. Okay, this is the user, so by requesting this in URL post, okay. Interest by requesting as the URL parameter in the post request, we can get put of /etc/password, where we discover the user login shell is /bin/bash. Okay, so just a couple of notes. So I'm going to stop the intruder attack because I don't think it's going anywhere. And now that we have a foothold, I'm just pausing it. Yeah, so
you have to URL encode your payload request, right? So
I would imagine, I mean, I can try not encoding it and see what happens.
I mean, I just tried that.
It works for me, but this is technically invalid HTML or request.
There was no space that I added, and then you added an extra / too.
Yes, yes. You need the extra / when you're doing file, because this is just like, I want a file, and then we're specifying path. So now, this is time where I need to Google because I don't know the answer. What is the default directory for Apache index PHP? Because I want to read index.php is what my goal is right now. And I think should be /var www.html. Okay. So let me var /index.html, and I'm going to just re-encode it so I don't break anything, and I'm going to do that with Control-U. Send that. It is down. Oh, index.html. I don't want index.html, I want PHP. And I need to plug in my laptop real quick. And it looks like I got it. It looks URL encoded. It looks XML encoded.
What was that? Or that shortcut? You highlighted everything and
Control-U. Yep. Let me plug in my laptop. Ow. Real quick, that was me hitting my foot against the desk. That's always super fun. Okay. And this is not okay, so this right here, I'm going to go and send to decoder. Send to decoder. Decode. Decode as URL, I think. No, it still does not like that. There we go. Decode as HTML is what worked for me. It's HTML encoded, apparently. That's Burt backup. That's fine. I'm going to copy that out, and I'm going to put into Dave's favorite text program, Mousepad. Let me increase my font size. Second. Okay, so now you can read it. Okay. If get expert mode and expert mode equals TCP, just you. Okay, please enter an IP address and please enter a port number. Okay. Okay. This is something. Apparently, it has a parameter called expert mode, which needs to be value of TCP. And if I do that, yep, IP address and a port number.
What was it, and where did you see it again? I'm looking
Okay.
at it. So X, you just typed in
So
expert mode?
okay, so first of all, I removed the crazy characters from it.
I just have it rendered in Burp Suite.
Okay, that's one way to do it. At the top on like line 19, I see this PHP and I see a $_ get, which means get parameters.
Okay.
And it returns a different form if it exists with the TCP in there. So if I change at the URL, not in there, nope, not in there, at the top in the URL, you're adding in the parameter. Yeah, so question mark, the parameter name.
Equals.
Nope, question mark, expert mode equals TCP. Enter. So this is hidden functionality on the website. Okay, and then let's get our netcat listener going again and see if we can.
Notes, right? Just keep the notes.
Yeah, yep, thank you for reminding me. Was able to disclose index.php by requesting, what did I request again? Which is why notes are super helpful and you should always use them. URL encoded, of course, and got the source code back after HTML decoding it. And then I'm just going to post it entirely in there just so I have the entire thing in here. I'm also going to use Obsidian's format highlighting as well. Where we see stands out as it's looking for a get parameter of expert mode with the value of TCP to show a new form. Okay, so now, again, this is on 1337, so on theirs, I'm going to put in my P of 10.14.191, I think. This is why, like, referring to my notes, yep, 191, and on port 1337, so it refused, get it.
Using the attacker. Right.
Yep.
113 with our netcat listener.
In first host lookup. Interesting. I got it from the IP address connect to this. Does this look familiar to you? Because this looks very familiar to me. This output.
No, not that I can recall.
Okay. This is where ChatGPT is super helpful, is when you think you identify something and you're not sure if you've actually identified something or not. What tool does this look like? And I'm making the assumption that's a tool because of curl being in use earlier. Put is characteristic of netcat. Okay, netcat. Okay. So again, with Hack the Box, A, we know there's a vulnerability. 2, we know that there's a path forward.
Just netcat because that's what our listener is set to, right?
No, that when we do netcat and we connect it to us, ChatGPT says it looks like netcat, and I think it looks like netcat. Now that said that, I feel like it looks like netcat. Let me try. There's an some website called GTFO bins. So let me go there and let's see if there's anything with netcat. With netcat, can bind share, file upload, sudo, oh, you can escalate to sudo with the -e flag, only runs with netcat traditional. Okay, I wonder if we can just set up a reverse listener through it.
So we're going to do this mmap command here.
Not the full thing, I just want the -e. And my theory is if I just put my stuff in there again in 1337, what if I try? Okay, I'm going to do this in Burp Suite because it doesn't seem to like any numbers as part of its client-side validation. So I'm just going to send this over to repeater, plus -e plus /bin/batch. I think this should work. If I get my listener going again, go to my Burp Suite, send it. We don't get. Ooh! I got reverse shell. Yep, I can run who am I. Okay, so take step back. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so now we're looking at the.
We are now www data. Bypass filter. On expert mode. To get reverse shell. Okay, I'm going to on your own code that and then do it.
Doing the -e, right? And then it's just encoded.
Yep. Because the -e allows us to execute. So if we're currently in a batch shell, let's run ls. See, user.txt. Okay, so I think that's the user. So I'll come back for that when I'm not recording this. And then, okay, cd/home ls, and we see Alex. Okay. cd found var cd
Okay, before we get ahead, I'm
yeah.
still not connected. So I'm sending this in person. I have this the IP encoded, right? So
Okay. Yep.
the port.
Yep. And you have your listener going.
Listener's going.
Yep. And what's the IP address you're giving it? Is it your IP address?
This 10.14.190.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's one or here? 10.14.190.
The and of the port is URL encoded. This cannot be URL encoded right here.
Okay, so port equal.
So, no, you need the ampersand signed, port equals.
Port equals just this. Okay.
No, I don't think that's still right. You see the percentage 26?
Yeah, percentage. It's hard to make
Change
out
that to be
the words.
ampersand. Change that to be ampersand, the percentage 26.
Okay, gotcha. Change it to be an ampersand.
Nope. Shift 7.
Oh, gotcha. There it is.
Yep, there you go. There you go. And then it should just be equals 1337. You shouldn't have the percentage 3D. Yeah. There you go. Send it. It takes a second or two.
Okay. Got it.
There you go. So now you can run Who Am I and all of that fun stuff. Cool. OS backups.
Did you look at that user text?
No. You can. I cannot because I don't want to spend time editing it out.
What?
Let's see.
It's a password of some kind.
No, that's the user flag.
Oh, this is the user file. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Because they did it so you can't just look for user.txt on VulnLab machines. Just trying to think of where I should look. Because the slash looked normal. Phone. Let's see. Let's see. I mean, can we ls in, where am I right now? cd/home, ls, cd alex, ls, are we, no, sudo as, sudo as admin, default, no ls.local share. Okay, so cd.local ls cd share ls pswm ls. Oh, wait, is that a file? Cat pswm? What the hell's that? What the hell's pswm? What is pswm on Linux? And if Google will load ever, simple command line manager. Okay. Built to be secure, it encrypts your password with only a key you know. I am sure that is the case. PSWM. Okay. WM. Brute force? Guess. Because it looks like just one. Oh my god, I don't care about preventing brute force. I want to cause a brute force. Thank you very much. Brute force get. No, I want the. Google, if you could be more helpful with acronyms, that'd be amazing. So that's talking about it, but we do see. Brute force. What's this one talking about? Oh. PSWM decryptor, is what that guy found in related to, decoder. Okay, what is this? Decoder for this? How the hell do you work? Read your scripts before you run them. Okay, it reads RockU and it tries it. Okay. Looks good with me. Looks good to me. So I'm going to go into here. Vim, PSWM decoder.
You said that PSWM is that rock code? Oh, it's the PSWM decoder.
Yep. I looked for brute force, and a write-up for this box came up. I didn't open the write-up, I did copy the text from it.
Okay.
And then it's like the second result, which is kind of interesting. .py, put then there, and that's also where the PSWM vault is. I'm just going to change that to just be /PSWM. Vim./PSWM. Go into here, and I'm just going to copy this like base64 crap. Is this base64? Again, another thing CyberChef is super useful for. Checking if it's base64. What?
Do you have to change anything in this file while I'm moving?
Change the pass vault file to, I changed it to local PSWM, or /PSWM.
It's mine's .local share PS.
Yeah, change that to just /. Like mine is, this.
Oh, I see.
Gotcha.
Oh, I've ran into this before.
And Vim. Yep. I have two. I dealt with it during backfire. I know I have. That's in separate fault. Give me a second to do that off of my host.
This doesn't need to be like run in a virtual environment.
No, technically you should, but I'm lazy, so I'm going to continue to be lazy. Crypto. Oh, Crypto Dome, I think is. Oh, no. ChatGPT it.
It looks like doing it from a virtual environment.
Yep. Yeah, that's proper ways to do it in. Oh, right, that's what you meant by that. I don't care, is my response. Okay, and I get decoded text, and I get the, put for what looks like his password. Which, that's a crazy password. Okay. So another thing with reverse shells is we have to stabilize the shell as well. Upgrade shell.
Hold on, you kind of left me in the dust there for a second. I'm working on my Python script.
Yep.
Trying to get that to work, and I'm still. So I'm in my virtual environment, installed the crypto code. That crypto. No such files found as that. Well, what I renamed it to, that was the variable that I renamed it to.
Okay. As it sourced, you need to create the file pswm and put in the contents of his pswm file into there.
Okay, so PSWM.
No, it's not a directory, it's a file.
Oh.
Oh, and is it just... And there's root.txt. Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
that's where we're putting in that nano file is where we're putting that password where we got it, right?
Yeah, that crazy, like base64 looking thing. Is it in another tab? Because that looks like before you were doing what you were doing. It would be in your netcat, yeah. That entire line before the control, yeah. Yep. I'm going to show your screen because the root is very easy once you get into this next part.
So let's take that.
Mm-hmm.
Like that.
Yep.
Oh, I have to name this.
PSWM.
PSW.
Yes.
It's not exiting.
Control X, Y.
Overriding. PSWM is a directory.
Oh. Call it PSWM2 and we'll just change the script to that.
Okay.
PSWM2. Enter. Okay, and then you need to modify the script dash decoder, or yeah, and file is going to be PSWM2. Control X, Y, enter, run the Python file.
Okay.
So, what I kind of thought was, I think the password for the vault is flower. Because, yep, and then the file next to Alex is his password. The crazy long string, the IU, capital Y, 3W, yeah, that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you copy that and then go back to your reverse shell, I'm going to share with you my notes on upgrade shell, which is a pretty important thing, where you're going to want to run this guy. And then you're going to run that guy in the reverse shell. And now it looks a lot more like a shell. And then you need to export the terminal to make it think it's in Xterm when it's not. And it's really fun. Yep. Enter. Cool. Now you can switch user into Alex. EKS. Yep. It's going to ask for his password, which is what? Nope, not flower, not flower, not flower. It's that crazy long one. The password vault's password was flower.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I got you.
Yep. Enter. And now you're Alex. So now, the first thing you can do is run sudo-l. Sudo. No, sudo-l, not su. You need to give it something to work. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so it's sudo.
Yep. So this lists who's allowed to do what in sudoers. Yep. Put his password in. And he can run any command as root. So if you go down, all.
Okay.
He's allowed to do everything as root, which is fucking insane. So now we can switch user to root. Yep. Sudo su root.
There it is.
And cd. Nope, just cd, just cd. Cd takes you into the home directory of the user. So just do cd, because /root lives in /root. So cd is easy.
CD. Okay.
Yep, ls. And you now have root.txt. And I'm no longer sharing your Discord, so you can safely cat it out.
Read on. Nice.
So yeah. That was not that bad of a box.
Not that bad at all.
That one was, what was that, like 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours?
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Sweet.
Yeah, Okay, well, I'm going to stop the recording now. I hope everyone enjoyed.